Here is a simple rule of thumb guide for behavior. Ask yourself what you want people to do for you, then grab the initiative and do it for them. Add up God's law and prophets, and this is what you get. Welcome to another episode of Truism. We're going to talk about the truism of all truisms today.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the golden rule.
What's the golden rule?
Love thy neighbor. Another place he says, do unto others as you would have done unto you, right? Or something similar to that, right?
Yep.
It's a universally accepted and believed truism, right? I mean, you ask anybody, what's the golden rule? They know.
Right.
Don't matter, what your belief system is. You know what Jesus said. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Love thy neighbor.
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
That's right.
All major civilizations have a similar rule.
Really?
Yeah. So loving your neighbor, doing it unto others as you'd have them do unto you, it's like we said the truism of all truisms, like everybody believes it, everybody thinks they believe it.
Right.
Sure is hard to practice, right?
Sometimes it could be, sometimes it can be, yes.
If you think about, if everybody that believes that acted that way, probably wouldn't have wars.
They wouldn't.
Right?
If they all listened to what God said, we wouldn't have wars.
Right. But nations and wars, those wars between nations, it's almost always between neighbors. So
neighboring countries.
Right.
Right.
Love your neighbors. Well,
the ones closest to you.
It's not so easy if you're a country, I guess. I don't know what's up with that. But in the 1500s, Europe had over 70 wars.
Wow.
And the vast majority of them, neighbors.
Just right next to each other.
Bordering countries.
Wow.
One thing, I was just reading, it's a fiction book, but about a CIA agent deal. But anyhow, I was just reading a book. And in there, he mentioned that India has been a country for less than 100 years, and they've had 5 wars, and all of them were with neighbors. So I looked it up because it's a fiction. Yeah. Is he making this up or what?
Okay, so who's the neighbors?
So the neighbors is Pakistan and China, 2 of the neighbors of India's, but those are the ones that they've had wars with.
Right.
And so 1 war with China, 4 wars with Pakistan. So
fighting their brothers and sisters.
Yeah, it's usually over border disputes,
Right.
But neighbors.
Yeah.
Neighbors. Loving your neighbor obviously isn't too easy.
Right.
And what's going on in Ukraine and Russia?
Right.
Neighbors.
Right there, borderline with each other. Yep.
Israel and
they're basically the same people.
Neighbors.
Yeah. What God says about loving thy neighbors brings me to the story, the parable of the Good Samaritan. Right.
Yeah.
So here you got this certain man.
That's when Jesus was asked. He was asked by the rich man, right? Who's my neighbor?
Yes. Yeah. He was asked by the rich man, and he says, a certain man, down to Jerusalem, right? From Jerusalem to Jericho, and he walks upon these thieves, right? And they just basically give him a good old solid whooping, take all his things and
beat him up,
left him down, and you leave him down, and along comes this priest, right? I mean, a priest. Think about this, of all things. I mean, he's probably got.
Oh, he knows about love thy neighbor.
He knows about it. It's a priest.
He knows all those 10 commandments.
He knows all of it. But priest sees him, doesn't do anything, just walks by him. This guy's on the ground. He's probably just a lame man that doesn't need any help, or somebody that probably thought he was a bum or something. Maybe, I don't know. Just walks off. Then a Levite comes, right? Levite comes, walks past him like nothing.
Another religious one,
right? Just a Levite. I mean,
they know the law.
Everybody knows the law. I'm sure they've heard it before. And just walks past him. I mean, imagine that. Imagine just being beat up on the ground, just people walking past you. Then you have a good Samaritan. Good Samaritan walks by, right? He helps this man. He helps him out of nothing. He doesn't know this man. He doesn't know him at all. I mean, the Bible doesn't even mention his name. I mean, Jesus doesn't mention his name, right? And he helps him, takes him to an inn, and pays, and tells the people there, whoever pays more, I'll pay them back. You know, just take care of them. I mean, somebody that didn't know anybody just out of pure love, you know, just out of a good heart, and just helped this guy out. I mean,
took care of him.
Just
his neighbor.
Yeah,
saw the need, met the need,
and
paid the
went,
price. Went
above and beyond, in my opinion, for somebody that he didn't know.
Yeah,
you know, and so, it just, when I think about the parable, it just, for me, it's like, that's who I want to be, you know? I really want to be that person that sees somebody that needs help, you know, and I want to see myself in them or where I came from, and I want to help.
Yeah, don't forget that you were the one on the ground.
Right.
That's good thinking.
Right. I was down and out before.
Most of us have been there, huh?
And we've all been there. You know? I mean, you don't need a physical beat down or to be robbed by thieves to be down.
Right.
You know? And so I see myself in that situation, and I want to be better for everybody around me. I want to help. I want to uplift. I want to encourage, you know? I just want to love. How about that, you know?
Yeah. Love your neighbor.
It's something that I didn't grow up with, you know? And for me to want to spread it, you know, it's just like a complete 360, you know? So, Martin Luther King, you know, he says, hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that, right? And when I think about that quote, it's true. I mean, you know, maybe the priest didn't like the guy. Maybe he knew him, he didn't like the guy.
Oh,
he just kind of walked
away.
Yeah,
there's a thought. Maybe the guy had been by that synagogue or whatever
he was at, you know, and maybe he knew about him, you know, just didn't like him. Maybe it was somebody that he just had some kind of beef with, and just said, you know what, I'm not helping this guy, you know. I mean, hate could drive him to do that.
Didn't really say, though, does it?
It doesn't say that, no. But this is a thought, right?
Could have been too busy. Maybe he's too busy.
Could have been too busy. Could have, you know, who knows? Charles Fillmore, in The Revealing Word, he says, that's a book, right? He says, love is the great harmonizer and healer. Love will bring your own to you, adjust all misunderstandings, and make your life and your affairs happy, healthy, harmonious, and free.
Good.
To be free.
Freedom.
Free of hatred. Just full of love. Imagine that there. And when you want to help somebody, it doesn't, you know, it's not about Jesus-ing each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about out-Jesus-ing each other. It's just, you know, doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Because, you know.
What do you think about that?
Well, it made me think of those, the Levite and the priest, you know, like they were always trying to trip Jesus up with the laws, right? With the rules, with the following the commandments and doing good, you know, and they were always trying to out Jesus, really,
yeah,
right?
That's true.
Like always, that's really interesting thought there. Out Jesus. Not about that. And it's funny because the priest and Levite, they didn't even try.
No.
But they were known for their piousness, their piety. Piety, that's how you would say it.
Piety. Known
for that piety.
Right.
And that's a really good quote. So the Good Samaritan story that Jesus told, that's another one that pretty much everybody knows it, right?
That's true.
Everybody's heard. Everybody knows the Good Samaritan, you know, and you see it in headlines all the time, you know, Good Samaritan stopped to help this person on the side of the road, right?
That's true, yeah.
But back in the 70s, there was a study done in a seminary based on that parable. And it's pretty famous. I don't know if you've heard of it before.
Enlighten me, sir.
So the parable of the Good Samaritan, everybody knows about the Samaritan. There was a study done in the 70s at Princeton University,
right,
based on that story. And it was seminary students, and a psychology study is what it was. And it's a super famous study, so maybe you've heard of it. I don't know. I just learned about it a couple of years ago, but it's really fascinating to me because they were trying to find out, the people in the study, the two scientists that did the study, the psychologist,
right?
Why do people do good things for others? Is it their whole deal was dispositional factors like attitudes and beliefs that makes you do good things, or was it more situational factors like the environment and circumstances around you that makes somebody do a good thing? So they had a group of students from the seminary,
okay,
the Bible college or whatever you want to call it, that they were surveyed about why they were Christians. And because some people are Christians because I don't want to go to hell, right?
Wow, yeah.
Some people are Christians because heaven's so good.
It's true.
More
yeah,
whatever. And others are, well, it's a great way to live, right?
Right.
It's the best way to live. No matter what, that's the way I live because it's Jesus. He had the highest standards of good and morality and just it's the right way. It's a great way to live. So why wouldn't I want to live this way? So
right.
they surveyed the students about why they were Christian, what made them believe the way that they believed, basically.
Right.
And so then these students were told that they're going to go give a speech on the story of the Good Samaritan. And so each of the students, they had 3 sections, 3 groups, I guess, that they were all individual, but 3 variables of the experiment. So they were all seminary students. They were all going to give a talk on the Good Samaritan, but the 3 variables were, and the talk was in another building on campus.
Okay.
The 3 variables were that some of them were told, hey, you're early. You've got time to plan, to prepare. So, your talk is at this time. Go ahead and prepare and head over there and do your speech, and then we'll follow up later. And then some were told that they had just enough time to get over there. They weren't late. They had just enough time to do their prep and get over there and give their talk.
Okay.
And then others were told that they were late and that they had to get over to that other building pretty quick across campus because it was time for them to start their talk. And so what the experimenters did was they set these students up. So along the way to that other building, they staged a person
right
that was in obvious need of help. They were moaning like on the ground, like the man in the parable, basically.
Right, yeah.
So they're going to give a talk on the Good Samaritan, and they come across this person that needs help along the way. They said the area where the person was, it was only 4 feet wide. So the people, the students on the way to give the talk, had to literally step over this person along their way.
Okay, so
like
they put it like a roadblock in there.
Yeah, they weren't.
There's
avoiding,
no ways to avoid it. Okay,
they weren't going to not notice that this person was here. And so when they did that, like the results were really, really clear. The dispositional factors of why I believe what I believe and why I'm a Christian didn't impact the results at all.
Right.
Those that wanted to go to heaven, and that's why they were a Christian, or those that love people and held to the ideals and the truths of Jesus or whatever, like they both acted the same way in these groups. And so the ones that were early, that had plenty of time to get there, 63% stopped to help. Now, if you think about that, 63% had plenty of time. Yeah, that's more than half, but it's awfully close to half, right?
It is close to half. More close to half
That's
than
kind of
100%.
convicting, right?
It is. Wow. Just
But-
hearing that, it's like, if you have time, you know?
Yeah, well, and that's it. The ones that were late, only 1 out of 10 stopped. 10%. So
You're in a rush.
yeah, I mean that. No matter why you think you're a good Samaritan or you're a good Christian, right?
Right.
Only 10% stopped. That was running late. So keep in mind, these were seminary students. These are the priests and the Levites.
Yeah, the top of
These are the ones that are on, and they're on their way to go give a talk about the Good Samaritan. So the story is fresh in their mind.
They all know it just like we do. Right.
But how often do you think about it? Man, like the overarching lesson taken from this, and this is why it's such a famous example, is that what you say or what you think you believe is not nearly as relevant as what you do. And it's what you do that counts.
Right.
So like James 4:17.
So James 4:17 says, "Therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin."
Whew.
Wow.
Yeah, so to him that knows to do good and doesn't not, to him it's sin. So these
it's a
like
sin, yeah.
you think about this, these guys are going to do their talk on the Good Samaritan. They know to do good,
and they don't do it.
don't do it.
It's a sin.
But those that had time, most of them did.
Most of them, but I still don't feel like that number's good enough.
That's scary.
It is very scary.
But I don't know. I won't go there.
But wouldn't you think there's more factors into that though? Into the guys that were early, maybe they were nervous, maybe they were.
Yeah, maybe they,
maybe emotions got involved. Maybe. What do you think about that?
I don't know, but they didn't stop. They didn't stop. I think, yeah, there probably is just their mindset is, I'm getting there. I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah,
I know what my mindset when I'm like talking, when I got to talk to a group of people or whatever. It's, I don't know that I should share it, but it's okay. It's almost over. It's almost over.
Yeah.
As soon as it's over,
okay.
Right? You're just thinking of the end, like how fast can you get through it?
I struggle sometimes to just being on a hot mic just by myself. Sometimes I'll struggle, and so I get it.
But the lesson is you really do get it. It's like the number one factor that did matter was how much time they had.
Right.
And so like we live in a hurried, rushed
fast
world,
pace.
man.
Adulthood is fast.
Nobody has time.
Nope.
I mean, we just don't.
Yep.
And so if we're not super careful, super deliberate, it's going to be easy to just step over somebody.
That's very true.
That needs you.
Absolutely.
And you can't, like, none of us can help every single situation every single time we see something.
Right.
But we've got to be unhurried enough to see it and take action where we can.
Right.
So that's my big thing from thinking about this: love your neighbor, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. This golden rule, this love thy neighbor, is how do you get it in my mind more and slow down enough to actually see it and help?
Right.
John Wooden, you know John Wooden?
I don't.
UCLA basketball coach, man.
I do. I do.
Like the winningest coach ever.
I thought you were talking about some philanthropist or something.
No.
Yes, I know who John is.
He would, he's big on leadership.
Right.
He wrote a lot, talked a lot when he was alive on his leadership. But he had a deal called "Be quick, don't hurry." That's what he'd tell the players. Be quick, don't hurry. When you hurry, you'll make mistakes. When you're quick and you're just moving fast and accomplishing things.
Right, and getting it done.
Getting it done right.
Mm-hmm.
So that like, be quick, don't hurry. that applies to love thy neighbor. Be quick, don't hurry. Big difference in being quick and hurrying.
Yeah.
But, one of everybody's battling something. So again, like, you can't impact every single situation that you see, but where you can.
Yeah, where's your heart at? Where's your heart at in it all?
And even, like, when I say everybody's battling something, even you, even me.
Yeah, this is true.
Like, but we got to get our eyes off of us more than anything.
I try to make that a prayer is, help me be considerate. Lord, help me be considerate to other people, other people's feelings.
Yeah.
Help me to guard my tongue, when having a conversation with somebody. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I'm good at saying the wrong thing.
It's because you get nervous.
It's like
you want it to be done. No, just kidding.
It's the Pelletierisms, man. I've said some dumb stuff, like without even meaning it. Like I don't mean it to come out that way.
Yeah, and a lot of times we don't mean it for it to come out that way. It does. We just got to be more careful. If we can slow down, like you say.
That's it. Be quick.
Slow down to listen. That's one thing that we're so much in a rush that we don't even listen anymore.
What'd you say?
You see?
I'm just kidding.
But right? I mean, think about it. I mean, somebody's trying to have a conversation with you, and you're just so. And
what's my next point? I got to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You can't stop to actually focus and actually show them attention, show them love by just listening. I mean, people just want to be heard.
Yeah. Truth.
So
truth. Now, that study and seeing that time was the number one factor in determining if the person got helped or not. I don't think that's to say that those dispositional factors don't matter.
Right.
I think why you do things, even why you think you do things, matters a whole lot. And I think the Bible's pretty clear about it.
Well, what does he say at the end of the parable? He says, "Go and do it.
Go do likewise."
Yeah, go do it. Just go do it. Do what the guy did. The Good Samaritan. Do what he did.
Yeah.
Do what he did, and I mean that's it's plain as day. Go and do that likewise.
Why you do things matters tremendously, and the Bible's very, very clear on that.
Right.
Like, I'm going to 1 Corinthians 13, those first 3 verses, right? We won't read it, but doing the right stuff for the wrong reasons matters. And that, that's the love chapter 13, 1 Corinthians 13.
Mm-hmm.
If I give my body to be burned, but I do it without love, doesn't matter.
What is it? Yeah.
If I feed the poor and do it without love, doesn't matter.
What is it? Yeah.
So, doing the right stuff for the wrong reasons is wrong. Matthew 7:22 and 23. They say in that, many will say to me in that last day, Jesus is talking, we've cast out devils in your name. We've done many good things in your name. We've done all this good stuff in your name. And he was going to say, "Apart from me, I didn't know you." Why? Because they were doing the right stuff for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
Dispositional factors, no matter what a study says in psychology, dispositional factors matter. Of course, doing the wrong thing for the wrong reason, wrong. Doing the right thing for the wrong reason, still wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the wrong thing for the right reason,
it's
still wrong. I mean, you might doing the wrong thing for the right reason. Like, well, I guess there's a scripture about that too. Should I lie just because whatever.
Yeah.
But when you align your beliefs and your behaviors, power there.
There is.
There's authenticity, integrity.
Right.
Aligning your beliefs with your behaviors. So what you do and why you do them are both critical, super important. Ephesians 6:5 and 6. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ doing the will of God. So there's some in there that we're doing the right things for the right reasons,
Right.
and some doing the right things for the wrong reasons. So the right reason is not with eye service. That's the wrong reason.
Right.
Not as men pleasers. That's the wrong reason.
That is the wrong reason.
The right reason, unto God, unto God, as unto Christ.
As unto Christ.
Right. So Colossians 3:23 also talks about that, doing the right things for the right reasons. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. Why you do things matters.
Right.
Ecclesiastes 9:10, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. You got one shot at this.
Yep. One life.
Do it with your might.
That's right.
For the right reasons. I'm doing the right things for the right reasons. That just might flip this world. I say upside down, right side up.
Right side up. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, you got a question to end this with?
Sure. So, my question for you is, what is your favorite interaction with a neighbor?
Oh man, everybody's got a crazy neighbor story, right?
This is true.
But yeah, if I don't have a crazy neighbor story, I guess that makes me the crazy neighbor. Maybe that's right. Well, how about you? Because I cannot think of any kind of neighbor story you got.
Not necessarily a neighbor, but a neighbor, right? Somebody that I didn't know, just like just a neighbor. But I was working and worked for a electricity company. We were contracted with them out here in Oklahoma. And what I do is I climb trees, and trim them so they don't touch power lines, things like that. So pretty dangerous work, And
Tree climber, monkey boy.
right, that's right.
You do a monkey sound?
You don't want me to do a monkey sound. But anyways, I get up a tree. It's probably 8:30 in the morning, right? And before I go up the tree, I knock on this neighbor's door, and I'm letting this person know that I'm coming into their backyard. Just give them a courtesy knock. And no answer. Probably knocked 2 or 3 times. Still no answer. By that time, we have done our job and we have the right of way, so we can just go back wherever we want. We were.
Well, yeah. There's an easement, right?
Right.
And so you notified the house.
Of course. So we get back there. Mind you, this tree is not in this person's yard. They just have limbs coming over their fence. And so
that's the way my house is. I don't have a tree in my backyard, but my neighbors.
So there
you go. I got a neighbor story.
There you go.
Limbs climbing over my house.
So it's a pretty big sized tree. Limbs growing over to their property, and it's probably, I want to say, about a 40-50 foot size. So it's a pretty big tree. Anyways, I think might have woke her up with the sound of chainsaws and stuff going on.
Yeah, that's not a good way to wake up.
Yeah, I know. But so anyway, she comes out and she's yelling. She just starts yelling at me. She starts, saying these non-flavorful words. Let's put it that way. And so she just, just going off. And I remember I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I tried knocking couple times. You didn't answer the door. I'm just trying to do my job here. And she's just irate. She's kicking her feet. You can just tell she's mad. So she walks back inside her house after I tell her that. She comes outside about 5 minutes later, and she's like, "Hey, I just want you to know that I'm sorry, and I shouldn't have did that, and I shouldn't have talked to you this way." Yeah, but in that moment, it's just that's why you do the right thing with the right heart. Right. You never know what somebody's going through, and she probably needed me to be nice to her,
right,
before she went to work, maybe, or I know she was getting ready to leave, but people.
soft answer turneth away wrath.
That's right. And it sure did. With
Wrath.
she was very angry, but yeah, that's my little story there.
Listen, we just ended an episode on Neighbors, and I've got to throw in this old school bonus track.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? Neighbors are people who are close to us. And friends are people who are close to our hearts. I like to think of you as my neighbor and my friend.
And if you did seriously stick around and listen to that, you're my neighbor and you're my friend too.